welcome to Judgment Day. We're talking all about baseball games today, so let's play ball.
Sad, isn't it?
Today on Judgment Day, we're taking a look at all the baseball games out there. ATV Quad Power Racing 2, Furious Karting, and Super Monkey Ball Jr. for the Game Boy Advance. All right, first game we're going to talk about is Sega's World Series Baseball 2K3 for the Xbox. What do you think of this one?
Well, right off the bat, you know, they got Jason Giambi on the front cover, a fellow pinstriper, fellow New York Yankees.
Well, you're not on the Yankees.
So the game must be great, okay?
You aren't on the Yankees,
oh,
just
yeah.
to clarify.
To me, it's all about the accuracy of the pitching, because in World Series, you can put the ball wherever you want on screen, press the button, and then keep moving it so that the batter has no idea where you're going to pitch it, but as the player, you know exactly where it's going to be. And they also have a mode where it doesn't go exactly where you want it to pitch all of the time, and you can adjust that, which again is like real baseball. They have a very amazing cutoff system as well, so when you're throwing from deep outfield, you can decide if you want to cut off. Very easy to steal.
I like the caught in the pickle thing going on.
That's
where you have the trigger buttons and you can run back and forth to the base.
It's very easy to control base runners, which is very difficult in these baseball games. Something that everybody screws up.
Yeah. Why didn't they have online play in this game?
That's the one bad thing I could say about this game.
What are you going to give this game?
I'm giving it a 9, the best baseball game of the year.
I'm going to give it a 9 as well. All right, we're going to switch over to EA Sports MVP 2003 baseball game. We looked at this one on the Xbox as well, but it's also available for PlayStation 2 and GameCube and PC.
The stadiums look gorgeous. It's a little darker overall than the World Series game, I felt.
I think the players look better in MVP.
The players looked better.
The faces are totally eerie.
Especially the PC version.
We looked at it on the PC as well.
My only problem, though, is the whole pitching and batting element. The fact that you have these little meters over everything you do gets a little too tedious.
It's like all the baseball players are playing Tiger Woods.
The biggest problem I had, though, is the pitcher and batter hitting.
Right.
You can't...
The thing fades out, right? The little ball fades out.
Yeah, you really never get a sense of where you're pitching the ball.
Right.
And that is a very big problem in this game. You can take it off.
You can toggle it, and
but
it'll always stay on, but then the batter knows exactly where it's getting
the ball's
pitched.
coming in.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is that in World Series, you can control exactly where you want the bat to swing.
You can hit it down, you can hit it to the left or the right, or you can pop it, and that's basically all the motion that you've got off the bat.
One of the great things they have, though, is the base runner cam.
Yeah, I love that.
In the top corner,
great feature.
The camera is always on the base runner, so you know exactly where he is.
There's lots of really nice slow motion stuff.
Slow motion shots are amazing.
Although I think this was a great game, it's not as meaty or satisfying as World Series is. I'm going to give this game an 8.5. I'm
giving it an 8.
We're going to talk now about High Heat Major League Baseball 2004 from 3DO for the PlayStation 2 and the PC.
Well, everybody's been waiting for this review. As everyone is probably aware, I gave High Heat a 0 on the PC last year.
So it can only go up from there.
Well, not necessarily, my friends. No.
They screwed up the roster on the Yankees.
Okay, no, they screwed up the roster on a lot of the teams, okay? They made up people who didn't exist. For example, my number 7 batter was a guy by the name of Wally Taylor.
Good old Wally
who was wearing number 23.
Right.
Don Mattingly's retired number.
I didn't think that this game was as horrible as it was last year. There was definitely audio bugs still rampant on the PC version of the game. I didn't particularly like the audio in the PlayStation 2 version of the game. The graphics weren't that bad. I thought the players were a little bit top-heavy, and you couldn't really make out all the sort of facial detail like you could in the other games.
Graphically, it's not the worst, but the frame rate's choppy.
The frame rate's
bad.
It comes in and out.
The worst part, though, is some of the camera angles. Because when you hit the ball, it does this weird kind of zoom thing, but that ain't the worst part. The worst part
snap to the other
is
guy.
when you throw the ball, it just automatically snaps to the first baseman standing there.
Before you've actually seen the ball leave the player's hand. So you don't know for sure that you're like going in the right direction.
You have no idea where the runner is on the base path.
I think the thing that you have to consider when looking at high heat is the detail that they've gone into for the franchise mode. I mean, these guys have gone all the way back and looked at all the minor league programs that are playing across the country. You can pull players from those minor leagues and start sticking them into the show, and then you can bring those players up and you know, build a team and worry about your budgeting and worry about how your team's going to fare.
Every single game does that.
6 out of 10.
Oh my God.
What are you giving it?
Once again, he has no mind. I'm giving it a 2. It gets the deuce.
Now let's switch over to what I think is the worst baseball game of the year. This one is Sony's MLB 2004 for the PlayStation 2.
The graphics aren't very good.
They're terrible.
Okay.
Come on. They look like PlayStation 1 graphics.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I thought it did the best out of all the games is the whole psychology between the pitcher and the batter.
No.
Every single pitch actually felt like a curveball coming in, or a fastball was fast.
You've played so many of these baseball games, and you love baseball so much that you want the challenge that this game provides. I couldn't hit a damn thing in this game.
Because I was pitching, and I had Clemens on the mound.
This stuff is so fast, and the frame rate's choppy, and you just don't get the sense. And then they do this stupid, bloody stick the catcher in front of the camera thing. So you don't know when the ball is coming across the plate half the time, and you turn the catcher animation thing off, and then you think he's gone. But no, he comes right back and sticks his in your face again. You can't turn the thing off. Another thing that bugged the hell out of me at MLB too is that
ball disappearing.
I'd be out in the field ready to catch the ball, and then the next frame it's already in my glove and I'm throwing it back. You know.
They have the guess the pitch thing. A lot of times in baseball, it's about guessing what you think the pitcher is going to throw you and where the zone is, and you can actually hit the L2 button and guess both the zone and the type of pitch you think he's going to throw. And if you get it right, it actually expands your bat. I'm giving this game a 7 overall.
I'm giving it a 4.5. Now let's talk about a claims effort. It's called All-Star Baseball 2004. And this one we took a look at on the GameCube. It's also available for PlayStation 2, Xbox, Game Boy Advance.
They have the Negro League team.
Right.
Which is great. So you can now pitch a Satchel Paige or hit a home run like Josh Gibson. That's great.
I love the fact that they've got like the MLB All-Stars from all eras. So you can actually hook into teams with Nolan Ryan and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. All these incredible, amazing players. How about the music that they got from The Natural?
The stadium tours were very interesting.
I like this more than MLB. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It's same score as high heat.
I'm giving it a 5.5.
We've been talking about all these sim baseball games, but there's an arcade game out there called MLB Slugfest from Midway. We looked at this on the PlayStation 2. It is one of the best looking baseball games of the year.
How come they can get the joke game graphics right and all these other ones?
I don't understand that. I mean, the player models are awesome. The camera angles are incredible.
This has some of the best beams in all of baseball.
That's one of the pitches that you have a choice of to throw.
When you beam somebody, it will actually take stamina and power and strength depending on where you hit him. So if you hit him in the legs, it takes points off his speed. So it actually comes into play, but you might lose your pitcher. Of course, there's fights on the bases. Any baseball game where you have a punch button is a great thing.
You're not just completely sort of helpless out there as the batter.
I give it an 8.
I'm going to give it 8.5. So there you go. The 2 baseball games I think you should get this year are World Series Baseball and Slugfest. Love them both.
Definitely pick up World Series if you can only get 1. If you can get 2, I like MVP as well. And if you're looking for just adrenaline fun, Slugfest is the way to go.
There you go. Stick around. We're going to be right back with a look at Furious Karting.